Are you tired of using Bolt Charge sitting in the back of the map plinking away at enemies?
Oh my god, yes, finally somebody's addressing this.
587,549. Hey friends, so the way I've cured my boredom in PvE this season is by experimenting with the Sealed Ahamkara Grasps, which provide a 35% damage bonus that stacks with other things for the low cost of getting a powered melee or a finisher. There's a lot of ways to run this. Let's start with the team builds. A lot of you in Grandmaster Nightfalls sit in the back and plink away. Usually you use an Arc Titan with Storm's Keep. That's fine. But 3 of those is not as efficient as substituting one of those Titans for maybe a Tether Hunter for crowd control and to keep a constant source of weaken on the boss. Sure, you could do that in other ways with Titans, with Particle Deconstruct and whatnot, but that's an opportunity cost when you could be getting more super damage or more Bolt Charge, etc. So this is what I recommend for team play. Just sit in the back with Lemon Arc, you stun overloads. Tanasha Chill Clip, you also stun overloads. With Anti-Barrier Sidearm, you break barriers. And with a Linear Fusion, you can still stay very far away, have decent damage, have decent ammo because of triple tap, and you can also stun Unstoppables. So it's fine, it's okay. Is it that fun? Not really. The fun starts when you ditch your teammates and go solo. That 35% damage boost stacks with other things, like Radiant. And you can, oh, my Postmaster Spool, oh no. You can also weaken the boss with your own Snare Bomb while also getting Radiant, while also maybe killing an ad with the Snare Bomb. You could use Threaded Spike, catch it so that you can refill it, so you can constantly activate the perk. You don't have to run the standard Plink build. You could use Choir of One or Lord of Wolves to absolutely mag dump on a boss. You could use Buried Bloodline to get Devour, along with Discord weapons, a Discord fusion rifle, to just swap weapons and be an unkillable beast. Or, the most fun I think, is by using a weapon like Parasite or Izanagi's Burden to stack all of the possible damage buffs and enemy debuffs at the same time to effectively one-hit champions and go absolutely nuclear on boss health bars. Where is he? There we go. Let's go. So how do these gauntlets work? The main perk is called Nightmare Fuel, and while I could read this entire paragraph, I feel like that's more confusing than just showing you in-game. So I have an auto rifle and a sidearm. First thing to mention is when the perk activates, it reloads all my holstered weapons. So let's go look at the amount of damage I do with the auto rifle. I believe it hits 15-17 to the body. When this perk activates, it's going to add a 35% damage increase, and I can activate the perk by either using a powered melee or a finisher. In this case, I'm going for a finisher. Keep your eyes peeled to the bottom left of the screen. There you'll see the perk, and when that blue bar is present, you get your 35% increased damage, and you're allowed 1 free swap to refresh the perk. But if I swap back, I lose the perk. So now let's reactivate this. I'll use a powered melee. Now I get my free swap. Now to refresh the perk, I just need a weapon kill. Then I can swap back. If I swap, I lose the perk. If I get another kill, then swap, I keep the perk. Makes sense? Now it's worth noting that you cannot activate Nightmare Fuel with a glaive melee or a grapple melee. Now one piece of trivia is that your tether acts as a weapon swap. So I'm going to get a finisher to activate the perk. I'm going to wait until that blue bar is close to 0. Then I'm going to shoot, and it's going to refresh the perk. So final boss of the Sector 18 or whatever it's called. I'm leaving the Wyvern as the last enemy since it's the tankiest. Since these Braytech bots like to kill all the ads that I'm trying to finish, I'll talk about that another day. So I get the finisher, Nightmare Fuel goes up, and I can use my tether to act as a weapon swap, thus refreshing the perk. I also get armor charge from a mod called Restorative Finisher, which gives me 3 solar weapon boosts. So tether refreshes the perk. Then I almost mess up this smoke throw, but the smoke is also going to give me a radiant. I'm not concerned about the weaken because he's already tethered. That's a higher amount of weaken. And then the numbers on screen, as you can see, they're very hard to read, but I punched him in manually. That hits 587,549 damage in one single shot. That is 3/4 of the Master Lost Sector's boss health. So I had all this PvE footage sitting in a folder for a while, not sure when I would make this video. Since then, there is a new artifact perk that refunds rockets on multi-kills. And while that does sound fantastic, it's actually not that good in practice. Not that there's anything wrong with experimenting in PvE for fun. I mean, that's what I'm doing in today's video. And that's also why I never seem to have enough vault space, Bungie. But it just goes to show the level of power creep our Guardians experience when not even infinite rockets sound as powerful as they should. And before somebody types it up in the comments, oh no, Cam's gonna ruin LFG, everyone's gonna run this terrible Sealed Ahamkara build. You're hearing it here first, I'm saying it in the video right now. If you want brainless, moderately fast speed, run a Bolt Charge Titan and Plink, a Geomag Warlock, or if you're the speedrunner sort, run a Consecration Titan with Syntheseps, and then use a Lord of Wolves to melt bosses and Eager Edge to get around. However, if I piqued your interest with the Sealed Ahamkara or other similar builds in the future, by all means load up a Master Lost Sector and just attempt to speedrun it. If you're curious about a way you can go faster, try it. And just keep going and going and going while you farm your loot, and eventually you're going to come out of it mastering a build like this to where you're not throwing in an LFG environment as long as you know what you're doing. And that's the asterisk. That's what we gotta say. As long as you know what you're doing. Because Guardian rank 11 does not make me confident that I know what I'm doing. What was I talking about before I went on the tangent? Rocket launchers. So there's a big difference between playing the game on paper and playing the game in practice. On paper, it sounds lovely. Rockets refund themselves, infinite rockets. But the thing is, they're already dead. They're dead in one machine gun bullet, let alone one rocket. And to make matters worse, you're forgetting about one small little detail. Your teammates. They're just gonna yoink your multi-kill, and your rocket is wasted. But you know where teammates cannot harm you? That's right, the competitive playlist, because that is rank-based matchmaking, and I am totally playing with Ascendant Zero teammates. But no, the real answer is Master Lost Sectors. For the remainder of the video, I'm going to leave you with my most fun run, which involves using Aegir Scepter, also known as Sprayquaza. And then I'm going to leave you with my fastest run, and then I will see y'all in the next video. Take care, friends.
Cam, what's your light level by chance?
Oh, it's hella high. It's hella high.
I'm at 20. Come on.
Oh, I thought you were calling the fucking par time I just got. I was like, yeah, it is a 2037.